Most people think creativity means adding more brainstorming, more inspiration, more caffeine. But what if the secret to breakthrough ideas is found in less? Socrates didn't just question beliefs, he used questions to spark fresh ideas. He didn't paint, compose, or invent, yet through dialogue, he helped others uncover truths that were already hidden within them. His canvas was the human mind. His brush was a question. Today, we chase creative hacks. We scroll for inspiration, fill our heads with noise, and wait for the lightning bolt to strike. But Socrates did something radical. He stopped talking. He listened. And in the silence, he asked questions that opened entirely new worlds of thought. What if creativity isn't about creating something new, but seeing what's always been there, more clearly than before? In this video, we'll uncover how Socrates used his timeless method to unlock ideas that stick, and how you can use his 3 ancient prompts to unblock your own creativity today. Because maybe the next big idea isn't waiting to be found. Maybe it's waiting to be asked. We live in an age that worships originality but fears silence. Every creator feels it, the pressure to produce, to post, to prove your worth through constant output. We call it creativity, but often it's just performance. You open your laptop, a blank page staring back. You tell yourself, be original. So you scroll, you refresh, you check metrics, likes, views, analytics, waiting for validation to feel like momentum. But the more you chase inspiration, the further it runs. It's the creative trap of our time. We mistake activity for depth. We confuse novelty with truth. Socrates would have smiled knowingly, because long before algorithms existed, he already saw this flaw in human nature. To find yourself, think for yourself. But how can we think for ourselves when our minds are constantly echoing everyone else's noise? We've built a culture of instant ideas, fast, shiny, and forgettable. We force originality like it's a deadline, not a discovery. And in doing so, we suffocate the very thing that gives ideas their power: stillness. Creativity doesn't die from lack of ideas. It dies from lack of space. The space to wonder, the space to be wrong, the space to listen before we speak. So, if modern creators are trapped in endless motion, what would Socrates do differently? He wouldn't add more noise, he'd strip it away. He'd return to the simplest yet hardest thing, the question. And that's where his true method begins. True creativity, Socrates would say, isn't about making something new. It's about seeing something true. He never claimed to create wisdom. He simply uncovered what was already there, hidden beneath assumptions and noise. That's the Socratic spark. Curiosity as a key, not to invent, but to unblock. He didn't chase answers. He asked better questions. And every question peeled away a layer of illusion until clarity began to glow from underneath. Now imagine a modern creator staring at their next big project. The usual question pops up: what will perform well? It's logical, strategic, even responsible, but it kills the soul of the work before it begins. Socrates would have asked something else. What am I really trying to express? That single shift from external approval to inner truth changes everything, because creativity doesn't come from pressure, it comes from presence. When you stop trying to impress the world and start understanding it, ideas stop feeling forced. They start to flow. Every creative block is just a question you haven't asked yet. Every blank page hides an answer that's waiting for your curiosity, not your confidence. That's what Socratic thinking reminds us. You don't invent meaning, you discover it. Not by shouting louder, but by listening deeper. And when you begin to question like that, something miraculous happens. Your mind becomes a mirror, reflecting truth instead of chasing trends.
Warm Socrates didn't sit down to be creative. He simply questioned until something true revealed itself. And that process, quiet, patient, deliberate, became one of the most powerful creative tools in history. Let's break it down into 3 simple prompts, 3 questions that can turn confusion into clarity and noise into insight. 1. Clarify. What do I really mean? Every idea begins vague. We say, I want to make something inspiring, or I want to change how people think. But what do we really mean by inspiring? What exactly do we want people to feel or realize? Socrates would pause right there. He'd ask you to define your words, to strip them of their glitter until the core appears. Try this when journaling or brainstorming. Instead of rushing to create, write down your big idea. Then question each phrase. What do I mean by authentic? What does success actually look like? You'll notice the more precise your language becomes, the sharper your vision gets. Clarity is the birthplace of originality. 2. Challenge. Is that truly what I believe? Socrates believed that truth can only grow where assumptions die. So he challenged everything, not to argue, but to awaken. We too carry hidden scripts. I'm not creative enough. People only want short content. I need to post daily or I'll disappear. But are these truths or fears dressed as facts? The moment you challenge them, new doors open. You start seeing possibilities you unconsciously ignored. Maybe your creativity thrives when you slow down. Maybe your audience doesn't want more, they want meaning. Every time you question a belief, you make space for something alive to enter. That's Socratic courage, daring to doubt your own certainty. 3. Connect. Where else does this truth apply? This is the step most people miss, the bridge between thought and innovation. Once you clarify and challenge, you begin to see connections everywhere. An insight from philosophy can shape your storytelling. A personal emotion can inspire your design. A pattern in nature might spark your next startup idea. Creativity thrives in these crossovers where different truths collide and create light. In Socratic dialogue, every answer led to another question, each branching into new territory. That's how his method mirrors modern brainstorming or story development. You start with a single seed of curiosity, then let it grow roots in unexpected soil. These 3 prompts, clarify, challenge, connect, are more than tools, they're a rhythm. They turn your mind from a consumer of ideas into a generator of them. And when practiced daily through journaling, designing, or quiet reflection, you begin to notice something profound. Your creativity no longer feels forced, it feels inevitable. Most people lose creativity because they lack ideas. They lose it because they judge too early. Ego whispers, that's not good enough. Curiosity asks, what else could this become? That small shift from judgment to wonder changes everything. Socrates understood this better than anyone. He wasn't interested in proving himself right, only in discovering what was true. His humility was his superpower, and that's what makes curiosity the purest form of courage. When we create, our ego wants control. It wants validation, applause, recognition. But wonder wants understanding. It doesn't care about being perfect, only about being honest. That's why Socrates said, wonder is the beginning of wisdom. Because wisdom, like creativity, doesn't come from knowing. It comes from not knowing and daring to ask anyway. Think of an artist who has lost their spark. They keep checking what others are doing, comparing, analyzing, chasing approval, and calling that inspiration. But the moment they stop and ask why they started in the first place, something stirs again. Curiosity pulls them back to the source, to the joy of discovery, not the fear of imperfection. Creativity isn't about impressing others. It's about exploring yourself without shame, without pressure, without the need to be right. When you replace judgment with curiosity, every mistake becomes a clue. Every failure becomes a question worth following. And every blank page becomes an invitation, not a threat. Because the truth is, the most creative minds aren't the ones who know the most, but the ones who keep wondering.
Philosophy only matters when it becomes practice. Socrates didn't want followers, he wanted thinkers. And the real power of his method isn't in theory, it's in rhythm. A rhythm of questioning that turns awareness into creation. Here's how you can make it real, starting today. Morning. Ask why. Why am I doing this project? Why does it matter to me? This clears the noise. It brings purpose before action. It's the anchor that keeps your creativity from drifting into vanity. Afternoon. Ask how. How can I bring this idea to life with simplicity and truth? This is where clarity meets craft, where thinking turns to doing. No overplanning, no perfection, just progress guided by intent. Evening. Ask, what did I learn? Every day becomes a small dialogue with yourself. Instead of chasing success, you trace meaning. You notice what inspired you, what drained you, and what you'd change. That's how philosophy becomes motion. It's not about sitting under olive trees or debating endlessly. It's about building, designing, writing, but doing so consciously. Socrates didn't separate thought from life. He lived his questions until they shaped his world. So if you want creative breakthroughs, stop waiting for lightning to strike. Start listening to your own mind. Because every idea that matters doesn't come from inspiration, it comes from attention. And when you bring that attention into your daily rhythm, creativity stops being an accident and starts becoming your way of life. True creativity isn't about being right, it's about staying curious. That's the Socratic mindset. To live in wonder instead of certainty, to let questions breathe instead of rushing for answers. Because when you cling to being right, your mind closes. But when you stay curious, it opens, wide enough for new light to enter. Socrates wasn't afraid to admit he didn't know. In fact, that was his secret strength. He understood that wisdom grows in the soil of humility. And creativity, like wisdom, needs space. Not pressure, not perfection, just presence. Think of it like this. Every great artist, designer, or writer you admire isn't chasing mastery. They're dancing with mystery. They're not proving themselves, they're exploring themselves. The Socratic mindset turns creation into meditation. Each project, each idea becomes a dialogue between your curiosity and your courage. It's gentle, it's patient, it's alive. You stop forcing genius to appear and start allowing insight to emerge. So next time you face the blank page or the empty canvas, don't ask, what should I create?
Ask instead, what wants to be revealed through me? Because the most powerful ideas don't come from striving, they come from listening. That's the heart of the Socratic way. And maybe that's what creativity was meant to feel like all along. Not a race to finish, but a lifelong conversation with your own unfolding mind. The best ideas don't appear, they're revealed through curiosity. When you slow down long enough to question, to pause, to rediscover, your mind will never run dry. Because creativity isn't something you chase, it's something you uncover, one honest question at a time. If this helped you see creativity differently, subscribe, and let's keep exploring how ancient wisdom unlocks modern imagination.